Okay, so these videos will probably be in the gaps between the fortnightly podcasts. It will let me get some quick reviews out of games I've played when I've got a bigger review or project on the go. Or like now, where I'm off on holiday, so I've got to smash something together quick. So, Overwatch. It's a good game. If you know me, I can't stand multiplayer shooters, so that says something. The 21 heroes feel quite balanced, besides a couple who are hopefully going to be nerfed soon. McCree and May, I'm looking at you, and fuck Tracer as well. Not because she's OP, she's just annoying. They all feel really unique. 5 different tank characters, 5 different playstyles of tank, and the same goes for the other 3 roles, damage, healer and defender. Possibly my favourite thing about the game though is it has no emphasis on kill-death ratio. It's impossible to find, and it just goes to show that when you don't put an emphasis on KD in an objective-based game like this, you get more people playing for the objective and have a much more enjoyable game for it. People actually work as a unit and fill gaps in a team's makeup. Battles constantly evolve. If the opposition has you locked in a choke point, you might need to switch to a character who's good at taking down turrets, for example. Then the enemy might switch to a tank to distract that character. You're just constantly adapting to your situation, and it's very refreshing. The objectives on each map are very basic: hold this point, capture this point, escort this payload, etc. But the different ways a team can approach an objective keeps the game feeling fresh after quite a few hours. People do resort to some cheesy tactics, and you usually fight that with your own cheese. Saying that, it is good to see people thinking outside the box, which is rarely seen in most shooters. I will say this, about 90% of the games I've played have ended up going into overtime, and victory or defeat is clinched by literally 1%. You'll dominate right to the last second, then all of a sudden the enemy team will steamroll you and win, or vice versa. I'm pretty convinced there's something behind the scenes in this game making sure matches are super close. If that turns out to be the case, I'll be very disappointed, because that removes a lot of player skill from the game. Content wise, there's 12 maps and the 21 heroes I mentioned. With games like this, it really depends on how much you personally get out of it, so I won't tell you whether the content to price ratio is worth it. The microtransactions are a bit of a letdown. They are all cosmetic, but I've never really given a shit about skins and that, so I will never buy the loot boxes. But it is pretty much impossible to unlock all the items just by leveling up. New maps will be free though. I'd rather have non-pay to win microtransactions than paying for maps which end up dividing the player base. It looks great and runs great on PC, for sure worth a look if you're not into multiplayer shooters, because this kind of feels like a big middle finger to them.